you said that you've had a history 100% of paying back your investors, right? Is that what you were
Correct.
alluding to?
Correct.
I just want to know, like, how is that very common in the industry, or you guys are a positive anomaly?
I mean, I hear, and this is because I'm involved.
Right.
I mean, I hear the horror stories. It's not a lot, but it's a small community. And you start talking with a couple private lenders, and they usually have a pretty good ear to the ground too. Like the ones that are regulars, they're not just
Yeah.
the one-off private lender. But there's a case of a guy, he gives 6 figures, and I forget what the number is. It's a high 6-figure number. Boom, gone. Complete fraud. Absolute fraud, and nothing they can do about it either. Absolutely nothing they can do about it unless they just want to hire a hitman and go that way. This is gone. So that stuff happens. Really, in from a private investor, private lender standpoint, it's hard to, it's probably impossible to 100% foolproof that from happening to you.
Right.
Outside of working with experienced operators with a brand and a reputation that they're willing to protect. So of the 200 deals that we've done, I've lost money on some. My investors got paid 100% of principal, 100% of interest owed. So I'm willing to do that. Not everyone is. Some folks that either because they just really screwed up and they don't have the money, or whatever, they're willing to run. And it's definitely scary. So it should put extra caution for investors or passive investors to do their due diligence on the operators or the fund managers or whatever before they invest. I'm just confident in my track record.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think what you mentioned is like that was a complete fraud. The one that the person that lost was like a 6-figure number. But I guess like the one I was kind of the examples that I was referring to was the one that you mentioned later, which is people who are just not paying back their investors, whether they're running out of money. They weren't trying to lie to them in the beginning, but they just were either incompetent or greedy, I guess would be the other.
Yeah, which that
Yeah,
happens.
so
Now the market's been really, really good, so you could screw up a lot and still make money. It's just if the market's ever sideways, shaky, volatile,
yeah.
the risk on those type of operators is definitely elevated. And that's kind of the market we're in right now. And I'm very bullish on residential real estate going forward, but I think it's more important now to make sure that the operators you're working with have the track record to show for it. But ultimately, if it came down to someone who can't pay back their private lender, there is a certain risk that comes with it. But do I 100% fault the operator? Yes. However, if they truly have the integrity, their brand integrity, that they need to be doing everything they can to pay them back. Like they got equity in their house, they need to get an equity loan. They got to go get a second job, or they need to work with them. Do not shut off communication. That's only going to make it worse. I've told lenders when I've lost money on deals, but I'm paying them back. And they still loan to me because they know that I was still good for it. So if you treat your investors well, even when problems arise, actually, here's a good case. There's one deal, it was a flip. We still own it. We're not getting the price we want. And so instead of selling it for a loss, we just say, hey, well, let's just rent this thing. And it's turned out really well. We'll probably end up selling it next year because of the equity. But had the loan on it, went to go refinance it. The appraisal came back even lower than expected. I'm like, crap. So I was going to end up having to come out of pocket a huge amount of money to pay off the private lender. And so I asked him, hey, look, do it. It's not gonna be fun, but if you're okay with it, would you mind just holding it as a second? And I'll continue to make monthly payments. Actually, I wasn't even making monthly payments to him. His was accrued. I was like, so I'll actually just catch you up and I'll make monthly payments. And he was fine with that. So just talk with him. I mean, if you get in the types of circumstances, talk with them, figure it out. I was a lender on this one deal. I was a small lender. It was me and I think one other guy. So we both lent the money, and the dudes, and I was the almost like project supervisor. And I told the guy, I was like, look, your plan for this house sucks. Like you need to do a lipstick on a pig, get in, get out, make your money. And he wanted to do an HGTV like remodel. And he had his contractor as a business partner, which I think is always a bad idea. And so ultimately he screws it up. His relationship with his contractor goes south, and like he can't finish it. And he's like 90% done. And that 90% isn't even like the best work. So now he was maintaining communication though. So we weren't happy, but he was maintaining communication. And so basically we just had to sit down with him, or the other partner had to sit down with him. It's like, look, here's your options. One, we get foreclose on you and make your life miserable. Two, you can sign this document and we'll just set it aside. We'll use it if we have to, but otherwise you're going to let us have full control over the operations now so we can get this thing sold. And ultimately that's what he did. He was okay with that. And we got it sold. We got all of our principal back, and I think maybe some interest, but it was nothing when you consider the time we spent on it. And ultimately I have a positive relationship with that investor. Not really going to loan him money anymore, but he did the best he could. When the problems arose, he just made mistakes that he was too inexperienced. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, it's good that you still have a positive relationship with him. And I think that's what people want moving forward. It's not complete burned bridges. That's like a really a positive thing as well.
Yeah. He was willing to own up to it.
Yeah.
He was willing to own up to it and collaborate with us to get the problem solved, which we wanted our money back. I mean, that's always the number one thing for any investor. Money back first. They want principal protection first, then make money. So you definitely want both, but if you can only choose one, I just want my money back.